Well, welcome to our podcast for Boomer Babes Life Travel. My name is Jaynie Morris Riggs, founder and creator of fun at Boomer Babes Life, our global community for women over 50. And we're really excited because, as you know, last week we officially launched Boomer Babes Life Travel. If you haven't already seen that and you're just tuning into this podcast for the very first time, please go to boomerbabeslife.com/travel. Check out what we've got there. We've got the announcement of what we're doing as far as Boomer Babes Life Travel is concerned. We've got the galleries already started. We've already got some great insight into exactly what Boomer Babes Life Travel is all about. And joining me today is one of the very special people who are actually involved with our partners, Phil Hoffman Travel. Because as you know, Boomer Babes Life Travel is now co-partnered with Phil Hoffman Travel. They're going to be populating, driving, supporting, working with us, not just in Australia, but worldwide, for us to bring everything about travel beyond what you ever thought, right to you so that you can get excited, you can start traveling, and you can start experiencing life just the way that we all do. So Christa Kinnear is the Leisure Business Development Manager. You all met her last week in our launch video, and she is going to be one of the many PHT, although she and Joe McLaren, her offsider, her cohort in crime, in travel, the two of them are going to be joining me on a regular basis for our Tuesday travel segment. So Christa, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. We are the apprentices in fun. Although we're trying to bring a little bit of fun to travel. So looking forward to sharing those experiences.
Now, Christa, yourself and Joe and the entire team at Phil Hoffman Travel, you know, years, as you explained to us last week on our launch, that years and years of experience there at PHT, not just for Australia, but worldwide. So we're really excited to have you partner with us and be the driving force behind Boomer Babes Life Travel. Now, this week, we do want to bring it into Australia. We do want to talk a little bit about what's just around the corner. It's the race that stops the nation, they call it. And I know that everyone around the world knows that saying about Australia for the Melbourne Cup. Have you actually been to the Melbourne Cup, Christa?
I have. I didn't think I ever needed to go, but having been once, it was so much fun. There were horses as well, but it was fun watching the crowd. It was fantastic being part of the different areas, getting all dressed up, and generally having a good time. It was absolutely tremendous, and I had to go a second time.
So you started that out by saying there were horses there as well, which I think is perfect, because in talking about Melbourne Cup to all of our listeners, yes, it is the race that stops the nation and everything, but you've perfectly hit the nail on that head about it's more of an experience, isn't it?
It's such a social day. I was very lucky to be part of a corporate area. So I flew across the night before, and the plane was absolutely full of people that were going to the Melbourne Cup, and everyone was giving their little tips, and people had hat boxes and suit jackets and things in storage or traveling. So it was kind of exciting. And the next morning I was on the river cruising into the Melbourne Cup. So the champagne breakfast, that was rather nice. And then arrived and went to a corporate stand. Now, that's quite exceptional to have had that experience, but it was beautiful. I did go down to the general area, which was virtually sitting on the lawn. We watched the horses parading past, so you could pick the winner of the day. And I have to say, I go with the colour of the jacket. Just depends what the jockey's wearing. So that's what I'm saying. It's a little bit of fun. There are the people that are absolutely wanting to make your bets and spend the big money. But I just had a lot of fun on the day. So watching the fashions, watching the people, and then trying to find a cab to get back to the hotel, which wasn't so much fun, but it was all part of the day.
It's really interesting how on the international racing calendar, Melbourne Cup certainly does have its place, so we know and we hear so often that people around the world attend all of the different, the one in England that my brain is escaping me right now, but the one that the Queen always attends, and what is that?
Ascot races.
Ascot.
Yes, thanks,
That's Ascot. So the Melbourne Cup really is the Ascot of racing for Australia, really. And so many people actually, because I alluded before about the fact that we call it the race that stops the nation, Australia actually does stop on that day everywhere. There's lunches and things going on everywhere around Australia. So as a direct result of that, there has been an increase of people making Melbourne the destination for
Absolutely.
that week. Haven't they?
Yes, they have. In fact, I was doing a little bit of research because this started in 1861. It's a fabulous track. So next year is actually 160 years of racing, which is pretty special. When people go over to Melbourne, all of the packages that are available, and Qantas Holidays do it really well. They have packages that include accommodation and maybe entry into the race, but it's finding all those avenues to put together, like how will I get there? How will I fly? Where will I stay? And that's where we like to try and make it easier for everybody.
So what in your experience so far, and we're actually going to get to something really special as far as Boomer Babes are concerned and Boomer Babes Life Travel, but in your experience so far, what would you say would be the easiest or the most experience-filled way to actually get to the Cup?
Well, as I said, you can fly over and have your packages and then battle traffic getting there because it is really quite congested. My second visit was on a cruise ship and we sailed out of Sydney. It was a fantastic way to learn about the Cup. What should I wear? What's required? Actually, you should probably look at that a little earlier than the departure. But there was so much fun on the ship. They had racing, you could make your own headgear, lots of history about the Cup, how to bet, what's a quinella for heaven's sake. They teach you all about that. And on the morning that we arrived into Melbourne at the cruise terminal, we all dressed up, everyone was all in their fine gear at breakfast. We then walked off the ship. There were coaches right next to the ship that just took us into the race course, which was beautiful, and then we just enjoyed the day. At the end of the day, instead of battling taxis, we were like, oh, where's our coach? There it is, right where we left it this morning. Boarded one of the many coaches that were there and went back to the ship, partied a little bit on the ship, I might add, and there was no battling the traffic, so to speak. It was fantastic, and you were with a great group of people already.
Wow, that sounds the only way to do it.
Do you want to go? Should we go?
Well, it's interesting you should say that, because to me, with you just explaining that, Christa, to me that means that accommodation is taken care of, return transfers is taken care of, your day at the experience of the Melbourne Cup is taken care of, and you've got all these extra benefits around it to make it the real deal. How long is a cruise like that?
There's different cruises. Both P&O and Carnival have cruises that leave Sydney and head down to Melbourne, and some of them will stay for Oaks Day and some of them will be overnight or 2 overnights in Melbourne. You may not want to go for 2 days to the Melbourne Cup, but you may want to spend a day at the Cup and another day in Melbourne, maybe do a bit of shopping or sightseeing. So usually around 6 nights is the average to do the Carnival Cup cruise, Melbourne Carnival.
Well, I think that we, Boomer Babes Life Travel, should definitely do a Melbourne Cup. What do you think, Christa?
I think so. I'm ready to go. Let's try a hat. I think I want to have more headgear.
Well, I'm excited. I think that this is a great experience that we can create for all of our listeners, for all of our audience, not just here in Australia either. So like all of our Boomer Babes outside of Australia, I think that we could put together some really cool packages and make this happen. And hey, why don't we aim to fill a ship, Christa? Of Boomer
Whoa.
Babes.
Oh, do you know how many people are on that ship? We can certainly try. Now, just imagine if you are from overseas, or even if you're not, the ship sails out of Sydney Harbour. The beautiful Sydney Harbour Bridge, the Opera House. What a way to kick-start that cruise. Just sailing out. November, the weather is absolutely perfect. You'd have a fun day at sea. You would arrive in Melbourne on Monday, so have Monday and Tuesday in Melbourne. Actually, you've got Wednesday in Melbourne as well, but we sail out Wednesday night. A day at sea again to enjoy everything the ship has to offer, and then arriving early morning back into Sydney on a Friday morning. So it's really only 5 days out of work if you're working.
Well,
Yeah.
I think this is a fabulous experience. I know that this is going to be one of many experiences that we are actually creating for Boomer Babes, through our Boomer Babes Life Travel division now with you. So I think that a couple of things are really important for our listeners right now. First of all, if this is the first time that you have heard us and know about Boomer Babes Life Travel, please go to the website, boomerbabeslife.com, check out the travel division, and make sure that you subscribe to that. Because by doing that, what that will mean is that every time we have a podcast, or any time that we, Boomer Babes Life Travel, creates new experiences and new travel offers, that you will be the first ones to get those details. And as far as what we're talking about today, well, Christa, you and the team and I need to get together as soon as possible. We need to put these plans into perspective and put it together. Now, if anybody wants to contact you right now, if they're listening to it before November, it's the first Tuesday in November, isn't it?
It is leaving next year, 31st of October, and I must stress it's next year. I know we got a little excited, thought it was this year, but it's so popular that the ships do book out. So we will be taking bookings as soon as it's set up on the website. People can contact me direct, Christa K, CHRISTA K @pht.com.au, and we will pass you on to one of our experts and send you all that amazing information. And it's a beautiful ship.
And what we're going to do to all of our listeners right now, what we'll do is we are going to put those details of contact are always on below these podcasts, as well as on our page, boomerbabeslife.com/travel. You will see there that there is a contact box. There will be information there for you to contact Christa. And because you are coming through Boomer Babes Life Travel, it's really important to always let our consultants know that you have heard about what we're doing, or you want to book something through and make sure that you highlight Boomer Babes Life. If you highlight Boomer Babes Life, then you're going to be in for extra special treats, I can absolutely guarantee. So don't forget to say that, because if you forget, then you won't get those special treats. And of course, if you haven't already joined up in our membership, go to boomerbabeslife.com membership and click onto there. If you become a Sheroes Unlimited member, you are going to get some extra special deals and offers first from Christa and the team, Christa and Joe, and Boomer Babes Life Travel. Now, as Christa just said, we're going to get together really soon in the next couple of weeks and start planning, because 2020 is the 160th anniversary of the Melbourne Cup. It is also my 60th birthday year.
Oh, really?
Yes.
How it all ties in. And we want at least 100 people.
So we are going to create, aren't we, Christa? We are going to create a massive, fabulous event for Melbourne Cup in Australia. So Boomer Babes, wherever you are in this beautiful, amazing world of ours, you need to be involved in that. All the details will be below this podcast on our page. Christa, it's been absolutely fabulous having you on
so much. Thank you. I'm going to go and book my holidays now.
We're coming with you. Thank you so much. And thank you for tuning in to Boomer Babes Life Travel, our podcast. And remember, subscribe. Don't miss any of these podcasts. Every Tuesday is our Boomer Babes Life Travel Tuesday. So next week, we can't wait to hear what exciting travel tips you've got for us then. Thank you so much for joining us, Christa.
Thank you. Bye for now.